Here we are. Welcome to Jackal's Wrestling Entertainment Pod. I'm Caleb with
Jeremiah.
And for this, as we do every week, we're going to run through Raw, NXT, SmackDown, but me and Jeremiah, we decided to add a couple new things, and you see those, we'll talk about a couple different things at the end of this show, but as always, we're going to kick you off with Monday Night Raw. On Monday Night Raw, we started off with Jey Uso celebrating his Royal Rumble win. He'd be interrupted by Gunther. What did you think of that Jey Uso Gunther back and forth?
I thought it was very good, and I think you really have a perfect story here. We talked about Saturday Night's Main Event a few weeks ago. You had a clean match, a really good match. Gunther won, straight up clean. So now is Jey Uso going to take the opportunity and be like, hey, I know I can beat you. I'm going to beat you. And I also just want to shout out that Cleveland crowd. They were hot. That was a great entrance. The encore. First time I think they said it's ever happened. Plays music again. He goes up on turnbuckle. Yeats. I just thought it was really cool. What do you think about the segment?
It was pretty cool. And like you said, hot crowd, which makes the segment even better. Then from there, we went to Penta defeating Ludwig Kaiser. And a pretty good match. What did you think of this match?
I agree with you there. Very good match. Penta, like we said, he's been on a roll with Butch and Chad Gable. I'm sorry, Pete Dunne. And with Ludwig, a really good match. I think Ludwig stepped up to the plate. We know what he's capable of. He had a really good match. And Penta just continues to just kill it.
He does. And then after the match, we saw Pete Dunne come out, kind of deliver the distraction. Then Ludwig Kaiser exacted revenge on Penta by attacking him. Is this leading to a possible faction between Ludwig or Pete Dunne? Or did Pete Dunne just happen to come out because he wanted Penta? What do you think happened there?
That's a very interesting question. It could be, I think, possibly a part of both. He could be, a part of just revenge. Or it could be an alliance. And I'd be down for that because Ludwig, I feel, needs to step away from the Imperium thing. He's not doing anything with Gunther right now. Gunther's doing his own thing. If he goes with, maybe changes entrance music and stuff like that, he goes with Pete Dunne and do his own thing because he has not, for the last month, done anything with Gunther, if I can recall.
Yeah. So maybe what you're saying is it's time he steps out, at least on his own, at least out of Gunther's shadow and try to start his own. I agree with that.
So, I could see a tag team hard-hitting tag team. That would be
very interesting. Next up, we had Charlotte Flair come out. She would then be confronted by Rhea Ripley. And she talked about possibly winning it back. We've seen this match at multiple WrestleManias. What do you think about the possibility of winning it back?
I would be on board. Like you said, we've seen it for the NXT Women's Championship. We saw it for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And now you'd be doing it for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. And it's tied at one apiece. So, you could have that for WrestleMania match. Would be really awesome. I also like how Charlotte said she don't know yet. She's we'll talk about later on, she's going to test the field. She's going to go make a round this week to see what she feels is the best challenge and opportunity for herself at WrestleMania.
That's very true. Next up, we had Logan Paul come out during a New Day vs. LWO match. It was Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and we had Logan Paul interrupt and pretty much silver victory for New Day. What did you think of that? Building up to Rey Mysterio, Logan Paul, Elimination Chamber qualifier on Monday Night Raw.
Well, first I want to say I love how they're announcing and do these Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. It reminds me of back when we were kids watching Raw, and they do them in December, and they do a New Year's resolution in January. You'd have big stars voicing in these chamber qualifying matches. And I love that we're going to get Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul in that match, and they advertised it. And also, I thought it was a good way to foreshadow for next week, and an overall good match. And what we've talked about with Rey and Kofi and Rey and Woods, I think Kofi kind of fixed for problems. It did seem like he had a problem.
You're right. It seemed like he found his way on working as a heel. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that. And I like how Logan Paul is already trying to get into the head of Rey Mysterio. He knows it's a big chamber qualifier. He's not waiting until the chamber. He is coming out and he's trying to always get in his head. you go into the match and now you've took a loss going into it. Now you're thinking about the losing streak you've been on and maybe not as focused on this qualifier match.
Yeah, very far ahead and smart by Logan Paul. And there's the other way that works is you just tick Rey Mysterio off, and now he's really coming for you next week as well.
That's true. Next up, we had a women's Elimination Chamber qualifier when we had Liv Morgan go against Io Sky, and we would see Liv Morgan pick up the win on a disqualification finish. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, good match. I get sometimes it happens. I'm not so much of a disqualification finish fan myself. I like a more decisive finish, but it made sense. Liv did attack Io earlier on the night. Raquel also jumped Rhea, which started why Rhea interfered, but very good back and forth match. And yeah, Liv's looking to claim a title of some sort in the Elimination Chamber.
That's true. Next up, we had a big promo. We had Seth Rollins talking to Sami Zayn. Seth Rollins is, I think, trying to see where Sami's head's at after how Sami's been acting. And it was a back and forth between them. What did you think about this? And it was right before the CM Punk Sami Zayn match.
No, I thought it was a very good promo, and I also like the fact that right now, like you said, he's trying to evaluate Sami, but right now, as a crowd and watching, do we really know where Seth's head's at? I mean, he's not really a heel to the extent of he's playing it up, the crowd singing his song. He told him, you're not gonna, when they were chanting CM Punk, he said, well, you're not gonna like this. And he'd say what he had to say about CM Punk, and they chant OTC, and he said, well, you're really not gonna like this. But, you know, when he said, well, I gave him some, he don't like to be here all the time, talks about his schedule, I gave him some time off, and breaking on it, but still, I mean, Rollins, I think, is kind of like borderline right now, I'm not sure, but I don't know about Sami. I think Seth Rollins hit some nerves there, the way Sami's response was.
That's true, and then we would see, as Seth was leaving, we would see CM Punk come out, and near fight before the Punk-Sami match between Punk and Seth. What did you think of that? Can these two men wait to get their hands on each other, or is it going to break down on an upcoming War where these men are going all out and just trying to hurt each other?
I think it's going to break out myself. I don't think it's going to be just a matter of that security's not going to be there all the time. It's going to be timing, and I believe Seth Rollins said he has a qualifier eventually for the Chamber, so they could fight. If not beforehand, we might see them kill each other in the Elimination Chamber. But yeah, it's not over. Punk got the win on the first Raw of Netflix, but that rivalry is far from over.
That's true, and I'm down for it. It's going to be a good match when we get to see it again. I'm up for round 2. Next, as I was mentioning, we would have that CM Punk Sami Zayn Chamber qualifier match. CM Punk would pick up the victory, and here's the thing. After the match, Kevin Owens would come out. He would come out and he would jump Sami Zayn. He'd hit him with that deadly package power driver. And we just want to know, he didn't say anything, but is this because Sami did not make a move at the Royal Rumble in that ladder match? Sami was out there. He didn't stop Cody from winning. He didn't stop Cody from Alabama slamming Kevin Owens through a ladder. Is this because of that? Why do you think Kevin Owens went off the handle?
I very much agree it was because of that. It was because he believes that Sami Zayn was supposed to be his friend. He tried recruiting him beforehand. He believes Sami Zayn was supposed to have his back. He believes after Alabama Slam, Sami Zayn stood there. He was over there checking on him with the refs and medics, but he watched as Cody climbed the ladder. Maybe KO thought, maybe, hey, that's my buddy. You just did that to you. I go up, I defend him. Try help him win the match or stop Cody from winning the match at least. And I think in KO's mindset, he felt betrayed. Sami just let it go. I mean, he was out there to see if KO was okay, but he wasn't going to interfere in the match. He wasn't going to screw Cody over. And as far as the match itself, pay-per-view quality match. It really was that we got to see Sami Zayn, CM Punk, first ever time to my knowledge. I don't know if it was in Ring of Honor happened or not, but in WWE, first time ever, one-on-one. And that's what I just talked about. I love, so far, what they're doing with these Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. It gives you a big-time fill, in my opinion.
And also, it kind of puts where you can have anyone against anyone. The stake is you're going for a qualifier match. It doesn't mean like normally it'd be like Sami and Punk both as baby faces. Well, why would they just be going one-on-one? Or why are they going one-on-one? Because they each want to be in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, not to shot your last chance to main event WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble. That's more fun, like you said. If, if Hills vs. Hills, Faces vs. Faces, everybody wants to be at WrestleMania.
Very good Monday Night Raw. Next up, we start on NXT here. To kick off NXT, we had a really good back and forth match between Stephanie Valcourt and JC Jane, where Stephanie would pick up the victory with her eyes looking towards Fallon Henley for that North American Women's Championship. What do you think of this one?
Like you said, very good match, back and forth. I love how towards the end of it, when Fato influences his interference, she fights him off. But then something that you sometimes don't see, and just as kind of like a long-time wrestling fan, I like how after she hits JC Jane with her finisher and JC Jane's over by ropes, for wing awareness by Stephanie, she goes in, pulls her arms in, pulls her legs, and just helps make it like. Sometimes you see it and it'll just be like, oh, you think as a fan, they could put Val on bed. No, she secured everything, made sure everything looked right. Like you said, eyes on Fallon Henley. I cannot wait for Vengeance Day for that women's North American title match.
It's going to be very good and very interesting. Speaking of interesting, we would see Lexis King come out and brag on his Heritage Cup win. He would say as long as he's the Heritage Cup champion, so to speak, there will be no more Heritage Cup matches. That he's breaking that, he's getting rid of that, and he would be interrupted by none other than AKA Fandango. What did you think about this moment?
Big surprise. I did not see that coming. You have, like you said, a partnership with NXT and TNA we touched about a few weeks ago. No, I did not. It was a great surprise. The music and all, and then him saying, well, I think, was it JDC?
Yes, I believe so.
Right, he's now for the system on TNA, so he does that. You come out, the familiarity with NXT, with WWE, with that entrance music, with that name, but then afterwards he says, I'm this now. And Lexis King just kind of kept poking fun at it, going through all the old Fandango lines, which I thought was really cool. And I'm up for that, but I hope that's not something that sticks for his rules, because I like about the Heritage Cup matches that it's something different than anything else. And I hope that's not something that's permanently gone now.
Yeah, that's true. 100% agree with that. Next up, we had Ridge Holland's defeat Shannon Staxler Winzo. Pretty kind of all Ridge in this match. But what did you think of it?
I agree with you all, Ridge. Stax tried. He didn't get much offense in. Ridge dominated, like you said. And we kind of see that we know what Ridge did. He ended Chase U. He, eventually got that. And now it looks like he's driving a wedge between, just pushing it further and further between the D'Angelo family. That and also, Shannon's just tired of the lack thereof Tony D'Angelo. And I just don't know how long that's going to last before maybe the underboss steps up to be the Don. I'm just saying, he's getting frustrated with his leader.
He is. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. Next up, we had an interesting match. We had Zarya and Sol Ruco against Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. What did you think of this? Interesting, as it both are kind of like babyface tag teams, but you could see the frustration growing with them in the NXT women's locker, and then it led to this match. What did you think of this one?
I think right now, good match, good back and forth. I think Zarya is leaning more and more towards Hill. I don't know if Sol Ruca is completely on board just yet. Gigi and Tatum were completely thrown off by her awards, by her actions, because they thought they were friends or thought they were at least cool and stuff. And she's just seemed to have her own agenda right now. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out and see where Sol Ruca lies in this. Does she go with people she knew, or does she kind of lean towards the dark side, as it looks like Zarya is doing?
You're right. Interesting to see how that unfolds. Next, we had a pretty long back and forth promo between Bayley and Roxanne. And this promo would turn into Julia coming out. It would turn into Charlotte coming out, paying a visit to NXT. And it would end with Cora Jade coming out with a kendo stick and just beating the heck out of every competitor and threatening to hit her former friend, what looks like former friend Roxanne Perez as well. What did you think of this? And is there any way Roxanne makes it up to Cora, or is Cora Jade just completely done with Roxanne Perez and tired of taking her crap and being blamed for the tag team losses? Is she done with her?
I believe she's done with her. Again, like I said, great promo, great back and forth. Roxanne getting, not only she flew on the bus for take team losses, she got to just a straight jab in there and said, I'll leave when I leave here and vacate for title. Maybe Core Jade can finally win something. So, she ticked off week before by, throwing her under the bus. I think that friendship's damaged beyond repair at this point. I can't wait to see this triple threat match for Vengeance Day. It's going to be awesome. We have one more week before that. I have a feeling Core Jade's going to be added to the matchmaker for Fatal Four because you already have a triple, unless they're going to triple threat matches, which we've seen before, which would be fine. But if she's not added into the match, she is going to most definitely have an impact on the outcome.
Yeah, it should be a part of it somehow. I agree with you. I think you're right on that one. Next up, we had Kalani Jordan versus Carmen Petrovic, and this match was Kalani's. Jada Parker came out, and she was there. And when Kalani seen Jada Parker, she went into this like psycho mode. She won the match, but then she locked her submission back on, and was making Petrovic tap and tap and tap until the referee reversed the decision. What's going on? And before I ask you what you thought of it, I'm going to float this at you and see what you think of it. Do you think that possibly this is going towards maybe a new women's tag team of Kalani and Jada?
Yes, I do. I think that's exactly what's going on. I think it might start off as a rivalry in a match, but I think Jada's unleashed a side we've never seen of Kalani before, or she's enraged her so much that she's picturing Carmen as Jada. But I believe I'm calling a tag team before it's all said and done myself. I think Jada's in her head, but I don't think it's so much she wants to divorce her, because it's not like we saw with Jada and Lola last year, or just a grudge. It's more like Jada was proud of what she was doing. She looked on with pride when she was attacking her after the match.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of like she's happy she found that dark side of Kalani Jordan, and she's trying to get to embrace it, is what it seems like.
Yes, it does.
Up next, we had Grayson Waller and Austin Theory against Oba Femi and Trick Williams. This match was a lot of arguing between Trick and Oba, and it would turn where Eddie Thorpe would come out and cost Trick and Oba the match, and then after the match, Eddie Thorpe would just beat the daylights out of Trick Williams with a strap, and Oba would just walk on. He'd just leave. He didn't care. So what did you think of this, and why do you think Oba just decided he doesn't even care that Trick's getting beat with a strap, and he just turned around and left?
Because I think that these men do not like each other. They had no desire to team up. Ava did it because she was tired of Trick's actions last week of interfering and everything. It was a constant one-upsmanship, which they lost because they didn't have that chemistry as A-Town Down Under of a tag team where they picked up, and with Eddie Thorpe as well. And I think Oba don't care. He looks at that as long as Eddie Thorpe's not after his title, that's Trick's problem, and Oba just don't care. Oba's out for Oba, and he's just going to leave that to let Trick handle Trick's business. And I think we're going to see this week a strap match between the two added to Vengeance Day, which I think would pay off really cool myself. But yeah, I think Oba's just looking out for Oba, which, you can't blame him. Again, that's Trick's problem, that's Trick's business.
Yeah, that's very true. Now we head to Friday night where we had SmackDown. We kicked SmackDown off with Jey Uso coming out and talking about his plans for WrestleMania. A little bit after Jey Uso would come out, who else would come out but Cody Rhodes? I think he's trying to see where Jay's head is. Is Jey thinking of possibly challenging him for that title? And Cody has been one to embrace Jey after the bloodline. But does Cody get frustrated with Jey if he picks his championship for WrestleMania? How do you think this is going to turn out?
I think it's very interesting because Jey had said before, if he gets it, he wants Gunther, he wants another shot. But after Monday night, or after Rumble, he's on Monday night, he tells Gunther, they go, as we're talking about, they go back and forth, and he says he's going to go SmackDown, he's going to pay Cody a visit. And now he's saying, he goes, I don't know what I want to do. Jay's saying himself, he goes, do I want to stand next to you as your WWE champion and I'm world champion, or do I want to stand across from you and go for the WWE title. And you have faith that's well on Jay's mind. And like you said, I don't know, how does Cody take that if he does go for him? I mean, Cody's not going to back down from a challenge. He's, way back last year, he gave KO a match just to give KO a match before all this bad blood between them. But that could go frustrate him because he was a voice. He was at one time a single. Him and Sami Zayn were the only people that were willing to give Jay.
They were the only ones that accepted him into the non-bloodline locker room.
Yeah, exactly. When everyone else hated him. So, you have a great story. You will have a great story either way. We'll have to see what Jay does. But I just can't wait. It is very interesting to see what route he will go.
Towards the end of this promo, we would see Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga attack Cody and Jay, and it would lead to what our main event will be, that big blockbuster tag team match. And real quick, the question about this is, we're doing the tag team matches with Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, but it seems like nearly every week these two men are in the main event of Friday Night SmackDown. Are they rising to the top of the ranks on Friday nights?
I believe so. I really do. Like you said, yeah, it's been like maybe the last 3 or 4 SmackDowns, these men have been in the main event one way or the other for most part of January. After Solo lost the Tribal Wolves match, he came out one time, he left, but Tama and Jacob have been doing their own thing, and they're going after the biggest stars on the blue brand. They're not just, going for lower or mid-card guys. They are going after the big dogs, the main event guys, and just doing their own thing. So, yeah, I believe so. I believe we are seeing the rise of both of them. There's a lot of emphasis on Jacob right now, rightfully so, but don't forget about Tama. He is really good in his own right.
He is very good.
Very unique performer.
Next up, we had Bianca defeat Piper Niven to qualify for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. I think the story out of this match was the strength of Bianca Belair to get Piper Niven on her shoulders and hit her with that KOD. What did you think of this one?
I agree with you. It was a good match. Like we said, we built it. The match centered around that story about can she do it. She finally did it, paid off. Huge congrats and shout out to her for that incredible feat of strength. And yeah, already Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan in that Women's Elimination Chamber is shaping up to be as star-studded as that men's one is too. I cannot wait for each one of those. And it's like you said, they want to get that spot in WrestleMania too. Charlotte has one spot, but there's still another spot open.
It's very true. Next up, we would see Pretty Deadly get the upset over DIY in a big tag team match. And Nick Aldis saying that guarantees them a future tag title match. What'd you think of this one? Of course, Ciampa and Gargano would say they weren't ready, they were in street clothes, and the match should not even happen.
There was a point to be made for that. They were not dressed to compete, and they wore in street clothes, like they pointed out. Tommaso recovering from that broken nose from we saw at the Royal Rumble. But no, good match, good back and forth. Pretty Deadly, seeing them rise up for tag team ranks. They got smartened up, which got tired of being the lackeys and not seeing their own rewards or their promises keep getting broken by DIY. So they took matters into their own hands, talked to Nick Aldis, got the shot, got the tag title match, and I can't wait to see the tag title match.
I'm with you on that one. Next up, I thought this was a really cool moment. We know we had the triple threat. We had Drew, we have Jimmy Uso, we have LA Knight, triple threat Elimination Chamber qualifier. But the cool part before this match was you got a promo from each man, and I thought each promo delivered their own really cool things to add to the match despite the stakes of already qualifying for the chamber. What did you think of that? The promo first, and then we'll get to the match.
Yeah, I have to agree. Drew coming out saying new brand, new outlook, fresh look on life. He's happy to be on SmackDown. He's not everybody else behind him. Jimmy Uso comparing him to a crazy ex-girlfriend that just won't stop or just, won't complains about everything. LA Knight coming out and just, heartfelt, just will just PSA, just talking about mental health and anything like that before delivering his promo, but just respect LA Knight for that. whipping on Drew and Vat and Vin. Vidort sheets, you go buy stuff. LA Knight, breaking the fourth wall a little bit about his promos. Then I have to get some stuff in. Drew McIntyre, he got a smile out of that was. And again, they went and had the match. So if there were any issues, both men are complete professionals and joked about it.
And we get to the match. I thought possibly the best match, most definitely on the top list for the match of the week that I will present after SmackDown. But really good match. Drew qualified for the Elimination Chamber. How'd you feel about this triple threat?
Yeah, exactly like you said. Great match. Again, like we get in pay-per-view quality matches on these Elimination Chamber qualifiers, especially on the men's side so far. And then, Drew wins. He joins CM Punk and John Cena. We'll see how that goes out. But right now, that is a star-studded Elimination Chamber match.
Next up, we had Carmelo beat Akira Tozawa. What'd you think of that one?
Good back and forth. Carmelo picked up a victory. Tozawa just wanted, some retribution for him losing his spot in the Rumble because of Carmelo. And Carmelo, we've just seen constantly, like we said, he gets better and better, I think, each week. He ran his mouth, he beat Tozawa, and just on to what's next. And good for Carmelo, picked up a victory.
That's true. It's been a long time coming. He's been trying to just break through and finally get that victory. Was a pretty good back and forth match, as you mentioned. Next up, we had a Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair promo. Are we building towards? This is what I've been thinking when I talked about Charlotte possibly winning the Rumble. I've been thinking it was to build up for a Stratton Charlotte Flair WrestleMania match. Do you think we get that? And what do you think of the promo?
I thought it was a good promo. Again, I'm kind of like interested to see where your face and hill lines are here, because both of them kind of seem more hills, in my opinion, on this promo. But good promo, back and forth. And I agree with you. I think right now, if I had to predict, I would predict that she is going to pick Stratton. We're going to get that dream match, so to speak, that first ever, and the winner of the Women's Chamber is going to go after Rhea. But I don't know. But that is I agree with you. I think she will challenge Stratton at WrestleMania, which will be an awesome match.
This match would be, this promo would be interrupted by Nia and Candice LeRae, and then a little bit after they came out, you would see Alexa Bliss come out, and it would lead to Alexa Bliss picking up a victory over Candice LeRae. Was that an Elimination Chamber qualifier?
Yes, it was.
And she is in the Elimination Chamber. So how'd you feel about that one? And it looks like Bliss is going full force on coming back. She started with the Rumble. Now she's in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, and she has not missed a step in over 2 years at all. She could go. We saw the homage to Bray Wyatt, which was awesome. There might be some Wyatts looking on after, we don't know, but it's been teased. Uncle Howdy on Twitter after the Royal Rumble Saturday night said, "There you are," which was kind of an ominous treat. And she qualified for the Chamber, which is also a star-studded field so far with Alexa, Bianca, and Liv Morgan. Can't wait for that Women's Chamber as well. We're just seeing big stars in this type of match that we know can be a brutal match, but just really gives you a big-time feel. And they've really, the last few years, have stuck to, you have the Royal Rumble, and if you lose the Rumble, this is your last chance to main event WrestleMania, and we're seeing that with these stars in this Chamber match, which I think is really awesome.
I agree with you. Next up, we had a big tag team match. We spoke of earlier, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso against Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Amazing match. Cody and Jey would pick up a victory, and after the match, Solo Sikoa would come out right as SmackDown was ending, going off there and hit that spike on Cody Rhodes. Jey Uso was on the outside of ring because he had just dove out on Jacob Fatu and took both men out. And Solo Sikoa stands tall to end SmackDown. What did you think about that one?
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I did not see the Solo reemergence this quick. So you just wonder, that puts in question, have they been acting alone? Have they been setting up for Solo? Or are they still together? Where does that play into everything? Awesome match, like you said. Cody picks up for Solo. He still wants Cody. He may not be the tribal chief, so to speak, but he's still I am the champion. So it'll be very interesting to see where that goes and see what that leads up to.
Very true. Now let's talk about name the match of the week. We're going to have you explain what you brought up. We'll get to you after the match of the week. So candidates for it. I'm going to say Punk Sammy. I'm going to say that tag team match between Oba and Trick against Wallow and Philly. I thought Wallow and Philly looked amazing. The best they've looked in a long time, in my opinion, in that match. And then I'm going to take two from SmackDown. I'm going to take that triple threat Elimination Chamber qualifier, Drew, LA Knight, and Jimmy Uso. And I'm going to take our main event tag team match for really, really good matches.
All awesome matches. We really had some good ones this week.
I'm going to give it to the triple threat match on SmackDown, where Drew stood tall. I thought that was an amazing match. I thought they did a great job of everybody, as LA Knight would say, giving their stuff in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then get into the finish. I love that match, so I'm going to go with that. And then I'm going to let you introduce this category that you wanted. And it makes sense. MVP of the week. Tell them about it.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, we do our match of week, and we do our fallback match, which we'll get to in a second. But I thought that a new category we can add is MVP of the week. After it can be a promo, it can be a match, or even like, you have people like Bailey or Charlotte or even Jay, you might see multiple times. Any category that falls in, so it will be something that will be given out by the guy each week that does the match of the week. So who is your MVP for this week?
So I'm going to give candidates. Candidates, I'm going to go Jey Uso, riding off the hills of that Royal Rumble win. I'm going to go Sami Zayn, because he had a pretty good promo with Seth Rollins, and then he had a really good match with CM Punk. I'm going to go Seth Rollins, because I thought that, as you mentioned, everything he talked about in the promo was really, really good. And he did wrestle a match, but he just got everything, the story, everything we were talking about, he got it all out there. So I think he's running for the final candidate. I'm going to go Drew McIntyre, delivering a really good promo, been winning his triple threat, booking his chance to go to WrestleMania. But for the MVP, I'm going to pick Jey Uso. I'm going to say he came out, he did that amazing promo on Raw, and talking Gunther, building anticipation of possibly going back after Gunther and getting the shot. He winning the title when he could win it on Saturday night's main event. He talked about possibly doing that. Then he went SmackDown. He had speculation on, is he going to challenge Cody?
Exactly.
And then he would team up with Cody and win the big main event. I'm giving it Jey Uso for this week. It
was an incredible week for Jey Uso. Royal Rumble win included everything. It was the week of Yeetmeister, which was awesome. And for that fallback match, folks, it's today is Super Bowl Sunday when we are recording this, and when it will be up on social and YouTube. So I want to go back to February of 1999 or late January. I'm not sure exactly the time frame there. And it's an awesome match. Younger fans may have not seen it, or I don't know if you have seen it, or it's been a while. But halftime heat between The Rock and Mankind, a fun match, great, just throughout the arena, Falls Count Anywhere, fun match. So like I said, I believe you can get Sunday Night Heat on Peacock. So you should be able to go on there, and I'd look, it should be under halftime heat because nothing else was on the show. And it should be, like I said, late January or early February of 1999. But yeah, do yourselves a favor. Very fun match. One of my favorite hardcore Falls Count Anywhere matches.
I agree. Great pick for that. And it coincides with the Super Bowl. Amazing pick. Now, you also want to talk about this. This is something, of course, we won't talk about every week, but we'll talk about this week because it happened. So what happened throughout, like, Friday night, Saturday morning, was there were 10 releases. There were releases of superstars, Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, their manager Paul Ellering, Cedric Alexander, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, and the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So what do you think about this, and what words can you say, maybe if they hear it, maybe one of these guys or women will hear this, what's words of advice that you would say on what's next for them?
Oh, it always sucks. I mean, just as a fan, just as anyone losing their jobs and stuff. It sucks. We watch every week. If you're listening to this or watching this, you love wrestling. You love watching these people. And again, like I said, no one wants anyone to lose their job. But I hope for these people and wish them the best. I think they all will find something. They're all extremely talented people. They will end up, bouncing back, whether it be, AEW, TNA, or Indies, or GCW, or even Japan, or whatever they want to do. And I wish them all the best. And one that, and I'm sorry for everyone, but one that really hit hard was the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They kind of on their podcast, all the reason for this, giving you advice on podcast, and then having fans from their show listen to your basketball podcast and telling you why you should do a wrestling podcast. And so, like I said, I wish them all the best. And they're all talented individuals, and they all will show up somewhere, and eventually, look at Drew McIntyre. You can work your way and come back. And I wish them the best. And I believe that all of them do have that in them to come back if they want to do it, or even if they, don't. That's up to them. But yeah, just like I said, you don't want to see anyone lose their jobs. Paul Ellering, he's a Hall of Famer. He might just be happy just being at home and just being not doing anything. I don't know, but yeah, just shout out to all of them. Not the one, Sonya. She's like Corbin last year. I was kind of surprised. She's so versatile. She's done anything that's been asked for the last 5-6 years,
including being a general manager. Well,
yeah, general manager. Well, any tag team, any faction, when they put her in there, she's just showed that she can do anything. So again, yeah, shout out to all of them. I don't see this being the end of a line for any of them. I still believe if they want to still continue down this road in wrestling, that they will be in another company, and possibly, again, like I said, you can always make your way back if you choose to do so. So yeah, we just wish them the best.
Just want to give this closing words to this subject. Keep your head up. You never know when the next opportunity is going to come up. But hey, go out and do what you mentioned Drew McIntyre did, or what Cody Rhodes did. Become a bigger name and come back to the company bigger than ever, if that's what you choose to do. And if not, hey, find what you're really passionate about and do that too. That's the fun of this. Like, you have an opportunity to create something better for yourself now. Get more TV time, build up just air time, and even a different character that you want to do, and bring it back if that's what you choose to do. But we want to say thank you guys for joining us on a Jackal's Wrestling Entertainment Pod. I'm Caleb.
Jeremiah.
And we'll see you next time.